What's up, everybody? Welcome. We are on episode 38 of the Cabrini Kid podcast. I'm your host, the Cabrini Kid himself, Chicago's very own, the champ, David Haywood. Over to my left, we have Mr. Perkins to you on Instagram. You can find him, Keinon KP Perkins. Say what's up to the people.
What's good? Happy Wednesday. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate you. Welcome.
And then right below the both of us, we have Miss Jojo Brown joining us again, gracing us with her presence once more.
You could be watching the Knicks, but you're watching me. You're welcome.
Probably doing them a favor. Okay, so to kick us off tonight, KP forwarded me a video or a post earlier that said, in 2025, more men are dating for peace rather than beauty. And I think that's very shocking to hear, because I feel like we are in full swing of social media dumb, that it would be easier to fall into the trap of going for beauty than peace. KP, what do you feel like keeps you away from going for the looks?
Yo, don't get me wrong. I mean, I go for the looks, but I think that, again, I'm a firm believer in that going for that good-looking, solid, loyal 7, that's where it's at. The seven with peace.
Oh, low. I don't know if I can do a 7.
That's where it's at. The 7, that's what I want.
A peaceful 7? You can't do a peaceful 7?
I'll do a peaceful 8.
You want a problematic 9?
No. But a 7.
I mean, that's still above average.
What's average?
Like a 4.
For women?
Yeah.
No.
Not
a 4.
David, knock it off.
Not a 4.
Okay, but if you're taking 10 out, that means the top is 9.
Why do you take a 10 out? Oh, you're saying in this scenario?
Yeah, because I mean, like, who's a perfect 10?
Me, but go on.
But who's a perfect 10? So I mean, what you can do is like 9.5, 9.9.
That's fair.
And what's half of 9? 4.5, right?
I just think it's different for men and women. I would say the average for a woman is probably 5.5, 6. You're gonna come into contact with more women who are above average than men. No?
Oh man, that's a strong statement.
Yeah, that is a pretty strong statement.
More women who are above average than men who are above average. I mean, just off the statistics, no, because there's more women than men.
Yeah, that's true. You mean, like in the world.
Right. Like now, let's say like Atlanta, right? You in Atlanta, you in a hub of the entertainment industry, nightlife industry, Houston, Atlanta,
right? The hub of fun boys.
There's already such a limited amount of men out here, and then to have to rule out like a good chunk of them because they be dabbling. They do be dabbling. It's tough. I mean, tough.
But I feel like you could probably say the same for a lot of the women there.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say that there in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, that you see more women who you're like, man, she like a 7, she like an 8. That girl's a 9. More than you see guys, and you're like, man, he's slugging. He probably like a 4. He like a 4.75. He's a 5. That guy, he's a 2. Like, do you feel like you catch yourself doing that more?
So you're asking me if my theory stands that there's more above average women than there is men?
Where you are, yes.
Yeah, I would. I would say that I don't see as many good-looking men out here as I do women. I think there's better-looking women in Atlanta than there is better-looking men.
Oh, I would probably almost agree with that. I've
never been there.
But you know, that's like there's like this whole theory about Atlanta that's why these men out here can act a fool, because if you're a good-looking man in Atlanta, you're gonna have 10 women going after you, versus if you're a good-looking woman, like, for me to be able to find a good-looking man is a lot harder. I might have 10 4s in my DMs, but meanwhile, that solid 8 guy has 50 women.
Yeah, but that solid 8 guy might be taking it up the you know what on the D-low.
That's crazy.
Hey, that's not potentially a true statement.
That's why I don't be dating out here. So
see? A lot of fun boys.
That's what I was gonna say. So your option at that point is I got to get flown out. I got to go somewhere else. I got to leave the state to get.
The state is crazy.
The 8 that I'm looking for.
I don't know. In that particular state, I would probably still say there's probably more better looking women than men in that particular state. If you know what state we're talking about.
You think it's different in Arizona? You think there's more do you think there's more good looking men in Arizona?
No. I'm not talking about Arizona.
Oh.
He's talking. We were talking about you.
Yeah. But you
dating out of state.
But she's asking you if in Arizona that ratio still applies.
No, I think there's a lot of very good-looking men. In Arizona. Now, is there more than women? No, I don't think so. But there's a lot of good-looking men in Arizona. White, black, Mexican. I think there's a lot of good-looking dudes here.
You mean diverse? You think it's a little bit more diverse?
No, it's Arizona. No, I mean, I just mean that there's a lot of good-looking people out here in general. Like,
yeah, the West Coast for sure, just in general. The West Coast.
Yeah. So, I mean,
thank you. The best of the best. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, the best of the best. Appreciate you.
So you feel like, I mean, just from my 13 years in Arizona, I wouldn't say it was the most diverse place by any means.
No, yeah, it's definitely not diverse, but there's a lot of beautiful women here.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think Arizona is second to maybe Florida.
Where, Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like, but even
maybe
in
Tampa
places
too.
like, but even in places like that though, like those, because they're hubs, they bring people from other states who may not live there. Right.
Right.
Like,
they're not actually from there. Right.
Right. Like if you say, oh, like LA has beautiful women, but those women don't live in LA.
Right.
You know, the women in Arizona live in Arizona. There's nowhere else for you to come from to go to Arizona, right? Like you're not going to travel from
New Mexico,
Colorado, and go to Phoenix. Like
That's not true. People travel from Nebraska to come here to live here, all different little parts of Illinois to live here.
I was going to say a lot of
Wisconsin
people are from
to live
Midwest.
here. Yeah, a lot of people are from the Midwest, believe it or not. Which is crazy. But
Yeah.
when you live here for X amount of time, if you're from the Midwest, it changes you. It makes you
More
different.
West Coastish.
Yeah, it makes you more. Yeah, West Coast is easily.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine going back and living in the Midwest. I'd be like, ew. Like,
No, dead ass. Because tell me
Like,
why I went home for Easter and I was like, oh my God, I have never felt this way before. But for some reason, going back to Ohio for Easter, I was just like out shopping, drinking my coffee, looking at people. And I was like, ooh, y'all look so normal.
yeah,
It's so weird because you get so used to seeing like this type of person, especially me going from Scottsdale to Atlanta, like kind of two hubs.
Right.
I feel like now I've been so spoiled that when I see my Midwest people, I'm like KP said, I'm like, ew.
She like, you can dress up and then like just
jeans and a t-shirt, slow down. It's crazy.
But to kind of tie it back to what we started off with, like in 2025, a question to both of you is that, do you feel like men have gotten away from I want a baddie to now it's who's going to add to my life and
facts.
and how,
Facts.
Jojo, I don't know if you consider yourself a baddie, but do you feel like from your experiences, especially as of lately, do you feel like you can tell a shift in guys, like the questions they're asking you, the things that they are looking at you for? Or do you feel like it's just always like sexualized?
It's so interesting because that word peace is thrown around very loosely nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I have dated men that have said, I'm just looking for a woman to add to my peace and not subtract or whatever. I'm like, cool, love that energy. I support you, King. Then my car breaks down on the side of the road and I call him and I say, my car broke down. And he's like, this is a lot. You're doing too much. And I'm like, this is just disrupting my peace. I'm like, a normal daily nuance that somebody experiences all of a sudden is disrupting your peace. Or I'll want to complain about a work story and be like, babe, listen to what happened at work. And they'll be like, I just feel like you have a lot of drama. I'm like, I feel like that word peace is now like a crutch to men because they can utilize that to say against women, like, I told you I didn't want this stress. I just wanted peace. And your life is just too much for me. And it's like, you're
coming in catastrophic. You're giving catastrophic.
Yeah, I'm like, I literally just needed help unlocking my door, but okay, like.
When you say, I feel like men use it as a crutch, I feel like you can say that about anything though. Like if a man says, I want a woman who's submissive. And you say, okay, I'm trying to be submissive. And then he says, well, we're going to have chicken for dinner. And you say, I was thinking steak. Oh, wait a minute. And you say, oh, but you said you want, I feel like you could almost say that about anything.
Yeah, I can see that perspective. I think I look at it more like gaslighting. You know how women, there's like this like theory that women be saying, oh, he gaslit me. He's gaslighting me. Like, I feel like that's something that men have referenced as women using that in an incorrect context. So maybe not a crutch was the right thing to say, but I feel like that peace is used as an incorrect context. If I think like what you just read, men are choosing peace over looks, I would agree with that. But I feel like they also are expecting, or maybe not they, let me take that back. A majority of men are using peace as a way to turn a woman into a doormat girl. Like you said, right? Like, oh, chicken. Oh, you want to eat steak now? It's like, well, I better not disrupt his peace. I better conform and I better not change anything because he doesn't like when I disrupt his peace. That's how I see it, as like, because relationships are not peaceful all the time. They can be for the majority, right? But the bottom line is, realistically, if you want like a ride or die, or you want that, long-term relationship, it's not going to always be peaceful. You're going to have ups and downs and, sad days and bad days. And I feel like when certain men use peace as something they're searching for, it's that they don't want any difficulty. The second a woman pushes back, it's a disruption to my peace. I've dated a guy who said, I just want peace. I'm like, cool, let's do it. You just want peace. And he saw me 1 week and then would go almost 2 weeks before seeing me again. And I'd be like, this really isn't working. And he's like, this is exactly what I didn't want. You're disrupting my peace. My peace is my life, my schedule. You can't conform to my schedule. I was like, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. That's not disrupting your peace. You're not giving me what a normal person would want out of the relationship. So I think there are men that are looking for that and taking it seriously. And I believe there are men that are using that as an incorrect context to looking for somebody that's just going to bow down to whatever they say because it wouldn't disrupt their peace.
So
go ahead.
I knew KP was about to say something.
You said
so. The whole time I was talking.
So I just want your opinion. What, in your opinion, do you think that peace means to men?
In my opinion, I think what peace means to a man is not adding to his already stressful mental. I think that a lot of men are not set up for success to share their struggles. And I feel like if a woman is coming in with quote unquote a lot of baggage, that could be considered a disruption of peace. But I think the bottom line is that I feel like some men are truly looking for somebody to be a safe place for them. And that's where I think those using the word peace is what they're looking for are correct, because that should be peace, right? You should be getting a partner that is supporting you and helping you and loving you and creating a space where after a bad day, you can decompress with them. But I feel like, again, the opposite of that is some people take day-to-day nuances as a disruption of peace, where it doesn't matter if you're with Sally Mae or Susie Mae, there's going to be disruptions of peace along the way.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I definitely get what you're saying from the perspective of it's an overgeneralized statement. And you feel that the underlying tone is, I just want you to be quiet.
Right.
And fit into my situation that I have going on.
Exactly.
But my response to that is, aren't they entitled to want that?
A life with no stress. Good luck. Good luck, because with or without a woman in your life, you're going to have that, right?
With or without a woman, you're going to have stress?
Yeah. You guys have no stress in your life? Work don't be beating the shit out of you on the daily? Because I'm over here fighting for my goddamn life every day. I'm getting
I mean, it's different kind of stress.
Yeah, I think it's different.
Yeah. I agree with that. It could be categorized as a different type of stress, but you're not going to live life unscathed. If you are, what's the secret? This is my Instagram. DM me it.
But some people, I'm not saying that I'm this person, but some people just don't want to have to deal with the nuances of having to call someone every single day, having to check in every single day, tell someone where they're going, tell someone who they're with. Again, I'm not saying that that's me, but some people, men and women, they feel that way.
Yeah.
So when they don't have that, they feel a lot less stressful, which is different from, of course, your every normal day stressors in your life.
Right.
That partner is just bringing in extra stress that you would be even better without, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. I think I get that.
So
I think.
Do you feel like you've ever stressed somebody out?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How much time you got? You want some names? So I know I be stressing people out. I know
you've disrupted some peace.
Huh?
So you've disrupted some peace.
Yeah, for sure. Not intentionally. Well, I don't know. Depends on who you ask. But I feel like young Joe didn't care. But as I've gotten older and really like worked on myself, like realizing, like KP said, like really truly it's not a super healthy relationship for me to sit here and require my partner to check in with me every day. Now, if my partner wants to do that, I think that creates a really secure place and a very healthy relationship. But again, seeing both sides, is it a healthy relationship and less stressful for me to always have to be like, hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing that. Hey, I'm doing this. Hey, good night. Hey, that. But like, I feel like I've been in relationships before where I want to do that because I'm happy and fulfilled or whatever. But to KP's point, I think you have to get to that place where you would want to do that. I don't think you're just in a place where you're not ready for that and then you try to force it. I feel like then it doesn't work out because you're not being true to yourself.
But you don't think at some point that gets old?
What?
Doing all those things.
I don't think so. Not if it's the right person.
Yeah, it don't seem like work if you want to do it.
Right. I was just talking about, there was a, I don't know if it was Shannon Sharp had Ice Cube on there. Did you see that? I think it was him, but he basically has been married now to his wife for like 35 years. And Shannon Sharp was like, what's the secret? And he was like, bro, there's no secret. I want to love her and be with her. She wants to love and be with me. So it just works because you just want to do it every day. So to KP's question, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that would get old if you found the right person where it's just like, we want to do it every day. He calls me every morning. He texts me every night because he wants to do that. I've never asked that of him or whatever, but I think if it's the right person, you would just do it.
Yeah. And I think that kind of goes back to, something that we said quite a few episodes back is that two women can date the same guy and get two completely different guys.
Yeah.
And which also kind of ties into other things that we've talked about. Like, if a woman says, well, I dated this guy and I just felt like he didn't put in any effort. But with another woman, he did everything.
Yeah.
Because he either felt that she was worth the investment.
Right.
They had that connection. He just didn't have that connection with you. And that's not saying that he's bad or you're bad. Y'all just didn't have that connection.
Right. No, I agree. I've seen that in real time. Like I've actually been like on the other end of that. I dated a guy for like 3 years who, this was like in college. So we were young, 19, 20, 21, something like that, who I felt like it was so difficult to get him to give me attention, take me out on dates, things like that. And then we ended up breaking up. And then the next girl he dated, he was like posting all over social media and they ended up getting married. And I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, like that just wasn't for me then. Like he wasn't ever going to do that for me, no matter how hard I tried. But this connection with this other woman obviously was more powerful, greater, whatever. So I think that's a great point. I think it's like, I know men don't always like to hear it, but it's that saying, if he wanted to, he would. Like women say that all the time to each other to hype each other up, but then they don't be believing it, because the truth is, it is true. I've seen men go above and beyond for a woman that they really mess with. And I've seen them do the bare minimum for somebody they don't care about. And so I think that really, and KP, you just said it yourself, right? Like you've said in these podcasts before, in conversations of me talking to you, you're like, I will show out for my woman. Like if I'm down for her, like she's getting small gifts and little things from me to make her feel loved. But if I'm not messing with you like that, you might not get that version of me.
No, they're getting fed the couch.
Okay.
You didn't sign up for that package.
Yeah. Feed me.
No.
Feed me.
That's what your couch be saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes he just be like, feed me.
Every couple of days he be couch started.
Yeah, I'll be like, whoa, what is going on here? What is that you? I hear you. Okay. I hear you. Okay, then I'll okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Feed me. But I totally agree with you. I personally would go above and beyond for some women and other women. Yeah, it's not, I mean, it is what it is, but
do you think the woman brings that out of you?
For sure. For me, it's for sure. It's a lot of that, and for me, it's a lot of reciprocation. Like, but if it's my girl, then yes, she will bring that out of me. But the way that she brings that out of me is giving me as much as I'm giving her.
Yeah.
If not more.
Right.
Now, those are the intangibles. Now, when it comes to maybe there have been some girls that have done a little bit of those things, but they weren't as attractive.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like,
right.
You hittable, but I can't take you to my boys. Like I can't take you to moms. They're gonna be like, she has a nice personality.
long as you happy.
Yeah. Long as you happy me to death.
Oh
no. Then you know your person ain't that cute.
Oh God.
So there's been instances where in that case that's happened. So sometimes, and like I said, sevens are above. I mean, that's only that's for me dateable. Sevens are above.
Yeah.
5 or 6, you want to get cracked? Okay. Okay. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Am I out there looking? Who is this best out of the best person?
I get it. No, I don't think he's not being like derogatory. I think that he's saying, if we're not connecting like that, then you're not getting the best of me if we don't have that type of connection.
I think that I like that Keinon said reciprocation, because that plays a big part. Like for men and women, like I feel like if I have a man, it's pressure. From a man, I would consider that pressure. Like if I already find you attractive and then you're putting pressure, I'm going to reciprocate right back. Like, I'm like, okay, this guy is interested and now my attention is on this guy, right? They literally call it peacocking, like on Animal Planet and all, like the species actually do this, that like the more attractive species or like breed or whatever gets the attention of the female, and now they're drawn, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like, to Keinon's point, it's like, I don't feel like if there's no reciprocation and you're not really that great looking, or if there is reciprocation but you're really not that great looking, like those things have to kind of coincide. I hate when people are like, looks aren't everything. Yeah, but there's something.
No, they're definitely something.
They're definitely something.
Yeah, they're definitely something. I can't lay next to someone every night and not want to like take their clothes off.
Right.
But you will lay next to him one night.
Not even a night. He's like, give me.
Yeah, they're not staying. They're not. Give me 10 or 15 minutes, and then they're gone. It's not. Yeah, no.
10 or 15.
Hey.
He said, "Hey, hey."
I mean, I ain't gonna front. I mean, like, I ain't one of those dudes who be like, "Oh man, let's have sex for in 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour." Man, have you ever seen those memes? It's like 20 to 25 minutes, not good coochie. 30, 35 minutes, not good coochie. 20 to 25 minutes, something else. 5 to 10 minutes, that's the best coochie in the world, because
exactly.
You're in it. You're like, you're doing the star hands. Come on, man. Nah, most women, I'm not gonna say most women, some women, I don't even know what's the difference between most and some. I'm not trying to generalize you guys, but
most is the majority.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all don't like going for, some women will say, "Oh, I love going for 30 minutes at the minimum." Man, it really depends on what kind of pipe that person is working with. Because if that person is working with some pipe, you ain't going for 30 minutes, mom. Right. Let's cut it out.
No, I agree. That's why I hate when men try to act like, oh, I'm gonna go at it for hours. I'm like, hours? I have to go to work tomorrow. I gotta be able to walk. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's crazy.
No, man, I understand.
No one wants that either. I don't care what they say. You're right, Keinon. No woman wants to do an hour, 45 minutes or more.
I think that women say that expecting for you not to be able to meet that expectation. It's kind of like saying, aim for the stars, but if you miss, you still fall amongst the clouds, right? You say, if I tell him an hour, he's not going to hit an hour.
Right.
But he might hit 15, 20 minutes, which is more than he was going to do anyway. And I can take that. I can take that.
Right.
Because if I didn't set the expectation, it might have been 5.
Right. No, I think that makes sense. I think that at the end of the day, to circle back to the original question, I do think I notice that men are doing better. I will say they're doing better. I won't say that all men are dating for peace and not looks. We've talked about this before when I've been on the podcast, like, because I'm not getting the same attention if I step out on a Sunday fun day in my Jordans and bike shorts and a graphic tee as the woman that walks in a dress. Like, so there are still men that are going for the easy option because, okay, what?
That don't mean that she's easy. It just means that she's peacocking.
Yeah.
Which one is the easy? The one in the biking shorts and the...
No, the dress.
Oh.
The one that walks in the dress and the heels is going to get more eyes and attention than the girl that walks in.
I don't agree with that.
I know you said that last time, but you be capping. So
what? If you got a girl with some biking shorts with a fatty and a cute top on, cute face compared to a girl in a dress, I'm most definitely looking at the girl with the fatty and the biking shorts first.
What if she don't got a fatty?
And then why is she wearing biking shorts?
It's called fashion.
No, you can't be wearing no biking shorts without no booty, Mom. You can't. You just can't do it.
Okay, wait a second. So KP said no mom jeans, no biking shorts. Now you starting a list.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you don't have a booty, like, I personally think if you don't have a booty, you shouldn't be rocking yoga pants. You should be rocking something else.
Yoga pants are for everyone.
No, they're not. You're being led to believe that. No, they're not.
If you don't got no booty, you just, I mean, I know there's a lot of women that rock yoga pants and they don't have booties, but it's like, man, you literally looks like, yeah, I don't know, like an ironing board back there.
I'm dead.
Which is crazy. And most yoga pants, they give you some kind of lift to some degree.
Yeah.
But
so to still not have nothing back there with the lift.
What if she's got big tits?
Okay, now we're talking.
I knew it.
Yeah, because you got to have one or the other, in my opinion. Most women should have one or the other. If you don't have one or the other, you have to be gorgeous.
If you don't have one or the other, you have to be gorgeous?
You have to be gorgeous.
If you don't have tits or ass, their face has got to be a 10.
A 9 or 10 for sure.
That's fair. Because like I always bring this up, like Zendaya. Men be loving Zendaya. She's built like a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah,
but they be loving her.
Yeah, because her face. She's gorgeous.
Because of her face, exactly. I get that.
I think she's got a nice body.
But she's got no titties and no ass.
She's just not.
She don't got none, bro. She's got probably like negative 8.
She be looking like a little boy, respectfully. I think she's bad, but she has no curves, no nothing.
Yeah, she's fine though.
But she's got a great face, like stunning face.
Shout out to Felix. Felix checking in.
Felix.
9 or 10. Ha ha ha. So if you feel like Zendaya is a 0 on the first two, but a 9 or a 10 on the face, would being an 8 in the first two overshadow being like a 6 on the face?
Ooh. KP will say yeah. So if she's got a huge rack, and I'm talking a natural fatty in the back,
and she's a 6 in the face,
6 face, you're passing?
That's still above.
No, I'm not passing.
No. Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought you were saying.
No.
I'm definitely not passing. For sure, I'm definitely not passing.
Yeah.
4 in the face.
4 in the face, I'm passing.
Yeah, that's getting tough.
Yeah.
That's getting tough. Because now we got to pull out the paper bat. No, come on.
4 in the face is a little rough.
Somebody gonna see you leaving with her, and then you're gonna see next week.
You're gonna be like, Keinon, are you okay? Blink twice if you're in trouble.
Or even if she was like a 7, but she had those like that kind of teeth with the gums.
No,
like
not
her
gums.
Her gums are like, her teeth are like this, or her gums are like way more gummy. I call them gummies.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I couldn't do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, a butterface is, yeah. I mean, a butterface is different. A butterface is under a 5.
The cruelest joke ever played in nature.
Everything
Is the
cute.
butterface?
Face.
It's the butterface.
Yeah. There's a lot of butterface girls out there, though.
No, 100%. 100%.
A lot of butterface girls. A lot.
Would you say that? Would you say the same for guys?
Yep. But you see more ugly dudes with good-looking girls comparatively to good-looking
good-looking dudes with ugly girls.
Yeah, good-looking dudes with ugly girls.
100%. I agree with that. Because that's that ongoing joke on social media where like they look at the guy and they look at the girl and then they say, "Oh, he must be funny." Because ain't no way.
Sure.
Right.
And if the good-looking dude is with an ugly chick, she must be paying for something.
I'm dead.
Especially if it's a black dude. She's definitely
She's spending. She's spending.
She's paying. She's paying for PS5s, car payments.
She's got the keys to the Ultima.
Oh yeah, she's paying. Sure.
That's big out here in Atlanta.
Oh, I bet.
Dudes be having no job but spending the chick's car. I'm like,
that's crazy. A dude
don't have a job.
That's crazy. Here's the thing. Dudes out there don't having a job. They'll take their chick's car and then they'll go pick up another chick and take them on a date.
No, 100%.
I mean, dudes do that everywhere though.
Yeah.
I ain't never done no shit like that. That's crazy. Take your girl's car.
Have you ever had a woman give you her car?
Yes.
For what? Why'd you need it?
I didn't have one at the time.
But she was letting you borrow it?
Yep. I was whipping that shit
you
like
needed it for, you guys, okay.
Yeah.
Drop me off at work and pick me up.
Yeah, I was whipping it. Between
9:30 and 4:30, you was in the streets.
Yeah, but it was never. I never had it like on the weekends. It was just like during the week. But yeah,
Felix,
I would take it, put gas in it.
Felix said, "Girls be FaceTiming while ...
Wait, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
he talking about Cassie FaceTiming her husband while with Puff Daddy.
Oh. Okay, Felix, you trying to open up a bag of worms or what?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Get started on that.
So, do y'all think that she told him prior?
I mean, people are saying there's rumblings that people are like, he might have been in on it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Or that's what I
see that, but as a man, I don't know how you stomach that.
No, but I'm saying, do you think that she let him know prior to either testifying or prior to?
I don't think he knew.
You don't think he knew that she did that?
I think he did.
I think
if he just found out at trial, that is wild.
People have been saying that he only knew like half of the stuff that she talked about.
No, I don't.
And other things that he didn't know about, he found out during the course of the trial. Because as the testimony is going on, I'm thinking to myself, if you're married to her, baby number 3 on the way, I would assume that y'all have had some heart-to-hearts.
Yeah.
I would assume, because he didn't meet her right after Puff Daddy. He met her a while after Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
So I would assume that they've talked about their past as their relationship grew. Maybe she divulged more and more. But are there some things that he might have found out during the trial that maybe she wasn't 100% honest about? Yeah, I think so. Like, did he know that she went to go have dinner with him and then she went back to his crib and hooked up with him? Like, did he know that? I don't understand how you know that and you stay with her. At the same time, he's a personal trainer and it's Cassie. So maybe he was just like, I get it.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I think these situations are always so crazy with celebrities because I'm like, we will never know the full story.
No.
Like, I feel like it's so deceiving because I'll watch and look at these updates and be like, at the end of the day, we still will never know.
We'll never know. We weren't there when it happened.
Right.
We're looking at it from a position of poor people compared to them. So what happens behind closed doors in those circles, like you said, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Because I saw today that some information came out about Lauren London at the parties.
What happened
there? That she was busting down at the parties too.
Oh.
But while she was with Nipsey. So now everybody's like, oh, I thought she was so faithful to Nipsey, and there was this huge love story and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. And now it's like, oh, well, she was with Puffy. While she was with Nipsey, did Puffy get Nipsey hit? Like, it's turning into this whole thing. But now that's casting some shade on her because she had kind of built up this persona of.
That's what the ideal relationship was.
Right. It was what Papoose and Remy Ma were supposed to be before that happened. But
people always be, and Kobe, that's my go. But people always Kobe and Vanessa, and I'm like, but y'all remember what Kobe did to Vanessa, right? Like, I get it, and let's not forget. Let the record show.
What if hypothetically we just don't know about it that Vanessa may have stepped out?
100%. Look.
Would that change your opinion of the situation?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I think that having been in the NBA for as long as I was in the NBA, not a single
being in the league as long as I was in the league.
Not a single one of those dudes are faithful. Not one. Not one. So I agree, KP, that I also don't think the women are either. But you know what you get into with that. You want the lifestyle. He'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
He probably be cheating and you probably be cheating. That's just that culture in the NBA.
Spreading diseases everywhere. Love it. Yeah, man. If I was in the NBA, I'd probably be.
You'd be Anthony Edwards.
No, man, I wouldn't be.
Hey, not too much on my man's.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Yeah. No, I wouldn't be bagging and tagging like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I ain't trying to. Those kids. No, he's too young to be having that many kids. He should be living his life right now.
Felix said you'd be at the freak offs. All right, here's a question. If you didn't know what happens at the freak offs, let's say this back 2005.
I'm going.
And you see Puffy at Bottle Blonde, and Puffy said, "Man, y'all cool as hell. Man, come back to the crib. We finna have a freak off tonight. You going?"
Yeah, I'm going for sure.
Jojo, you going?
No.
She going too.
If Puff Daddy said, "Come back to the crib. We having an after party at my crib." You're not going?
She's just saying that because she knows what happened now, but she would definitely.
No. I don't even. You guys, I didn't even be partying like in college, in high school, nothing. Like I was not out in the streets like that.
Which would make it even more impactful if you just out somewhere and you saw Puff Daddy and he said, "I want you to come back to my house. We having a party."
I would have been like, I need to call my mom.
On the way to the party.
Right.
Exactly. Okay.
Exactly.
Mom, I'm going to Puff Daddy's house. I'll call you later. Bye.
Ooh. She's definitely going. I'm going for the celebrities. And then, if I'm walking past some doors and I'm looking in, and if I'm seeing some shit pop off, am I gonna stop and watch? Probably. But if, let's say, for instance, if J-Lo came up to me and was like, "Hey, you want to do a freak off?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
If she said Puffy gonna sit in the corner and watch, you gonna do it?
Yep.
No.
Watch me work, Puff. Watch me work. Watch me work.
Oh my God. I actually I do believe everything that happened though. When I first moved out here, I was talking to a guy that was a music producer out here.
Mm-hmm.
And he would tell me stories about some of the artists that he worked with. They would come into the booth to record. And he would tell me some of the stories of when these artists would travel to LA for parties of some sort. And they would do just crazy shit. Like just insane things. Like I remember there was like a story where they went to some influencer's house and this artist was invited. He said, "Sure, I'll pull up." He said, "There's gonna be food and drinks." And he got there and the way people were eating, like caterers would walk around and they would grab it with their bare hands and eat it and throw it on the ground. And they would drink and then toss the drinks on the ground. And then they'd move to the next room. And then there would be like alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. And they do them, they move to the next room and then they play a game and like, just like the weirdest things. Like I always say this, but it's like, you see movies that like depict this stuff. And then I sit there and I watch the movie and I sometimes like look at the people in the theater watching the movie with me. Like y'all aren't thinking about the fact that this movie was written with like a group of writers in a studio saying like, what if this happened? Like, do you think they're making that up or do you think these are real experiences? Like they have to draw from something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I always think about that in like horror movies and movies with like plot twists and stuff like that. I'm like, how do you think they thought of this stuff? You know?
You don't think it's just creativity?
Sure. To a point though, right? To the point. I know you'd be watching The Simpsons predicting the future. Come on now.
I mean, I think that when you get into those echelons of people, it's nothing's normal.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing's normal with them because they've done everything normal.
Exactly.
So now it's how do we take this to the next level? And then what's the next level after that? And what's the next level after that? I stayed up for 24 hours. Now I want to stay up for 48 hours. I stayed up for 48 hours. I want to stay up for 72 hours. And that's just how to get down. Like
I feel like we talked about this once, but I feel like I mentioned the fact that Michael Porter Jr. was on that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that men in the NBA be hooking up with other men and transgenders because they're so bored of women. They've had every woman they've ever gotten. They've had nobody is a challenge. So then they start to think, okay, what's next? Like, what's going to get the thrill going? And he literally got on this.
How can I kick this up a notch?
He didn't say any names, but he said a lot of men in the NBA be dabbling.
Getting a Dwight Howard on.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so many women in the world to deal with the transmission if you got money.
You don't think?
I mean, but you get. But I mean,
no.
Look at it like take Anthony Edwards, right? Anthony Edwards with Aisha Howard. She said one night after a game, he just hit her up. He was like, "Where you at?" Didn't even like try to like holler at her. Didn't even put in no effort. He was just like, "Where you at?" And she was like, "This is where I am." He's like, "I'm on the way."
Yeah.
And so for him, he's like literally at the point where he's just like, I said 3 words and I was there.
Exactly.
Where you at? En route. Like,
yeah, as an NBA player, you're a multi-millionaire. You don't need to say more than 3 or 4 words.
Right.
I wouldn't. Man, don't let me. Man, if I ever made it to the NBA, man, trust me.
Well, where's the challenge? Like, I feel like a man loves a challenge, though. Can you imagine being in the league for 10 years and you've never been told no once? Like, you don't think that would get old, you would just be like, dang, I really have it all. Now what?
No.
Nah.
Said, it's gonna be me. Y'all be safe though.
No. If it's like shooting fish in a barrel, I'm keep shooting.
He's just not gonna ever play for the Hawks.
Yeah, no. It's a lot of beautiful women in Atlanta, but yeah, I probably could eat in Atlanta for real. Especially they got some nice little red bones out there. That's what I'm looking for.
You ever been out here?
No, the white chicks. I don't think the white chicks in Atlanta. I could be wrong, but are they like all into black guys there, or are they like?
Not really.
Yes, I didn't think so.
No.
Because I don't think a lot of white people actually live in Atlanta. I'm just not saying that there isn't a lot, but I don't think there's a lot of white women. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just going off what I just
It's not like Scottsdale.
Right.
But what's interesting is I got actually turned down by more black men in Scottsdale. I never have gotten turned down here in Atlanta. But in Scottsdale, they were like, I don't date white women. Out here, they're like, oh.
I bet, yeah. I bet.
Yeah, they're like, it's freaking gold to them. But in Scottsdale, there were a lot of black men that were like, nah, I'm cool. I don't date white women. And I was like, damn, okay.
That's because a lot of black dudes in Arizona are not from Arizona.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A lot of black dudes in Atlanta are probably from Atlanta.
So, but what does that have to do with white women, like dating white women?
Because the dudes,
all you did was grow up around black women, then.
Because if, like, let's say, for instance, you move to Scottsdale from
St. Louis,
Chicago, right? Let's say you moved to Scottsdale from Chicago, and you grew up in a family who frowns upon dating outside your race, right? Just because you moved to Scottsdale doesn't mean you're going to start dating outside your race.
Yeah, that
you're
makes
still going to carry those same values with you,
right?
Even if you change locations,
right?
And Arizona is a big melting pot of people from all over the country,
right?
But I feel like when you look at Atlanta, a lot of the black people that you see in Atlanta are from Atlanta.
Right. And
so they're already growing up around that demographic. So it's nothing different necessarily to them, you know? Like me, like I'm from Chicago, but I can guarantee you that there's dudes that I went to high school with that have never dated a white woman. But they also have probably never left Chicago either.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But the dudes in Atlanta, they go out, they move around. It's also a hub.
Right.
And they're already growing up around that demographic. So for them, it's nothing different. But for people moving to Arizona, it's probably different for them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Like KP from St. Louis, I'm sure he could probably tell you, there's some people in St. Louis that ain't never left St. Louis.
1,000%. For sure. I got family.
Do you feel like as black men, you only date one race?
No,
but I think that the more that you
be a black chick, man.
I think the more you move around, the more you experience, the more open to other ethnicities you are.
Yeah.
Like people, like I said, people who never left Chicago. If you grew up on the West Side and you lived on the West Side your entire life, that's all you know.
Right.
And until you get around and start moving around in different circles and start hanging out with different groups of people and seeing different things and experiencing other cultures, you're not going to know any different. Right. Not to say it's better, but you're just not going to know any different. And, you know, to each his own. Like I even in college, like I went to college with some guys who were like, I would never date a white woman. But the University of Iowa was like 1% African American. So if you're not going to date white women, who are you talking to?
Yeah, that's a small window.
Like, who are you talking to? You know,
Right.
so it's.
If it ain't snowing, y'all wasn't going, huh?
I said that was them. I said that was them. But like I said, the more you move around, the more you experience, the more that you see in your life, the more open-minded you're gonna be.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're more open-minded. You might not have ever looked at somebody who's Latino or something because you just never seen it.
Mm-hmm. Even in Chicago, like if you grew up on the west side of Chicago and you met a girl who was Puerto Rican and she lived near Garfield Park, which was a little bit more east, you might be saying, "Oh, I can't date her because she's not from my neighborhood."
Yeah.
Because Chicago is very segregated. It's like a black neighborhood, a Puerto Rican neighborhood, a Polish neighborhood, an Italian neighborhood. Like it's very segregated like that.
Oh, okay.
So even if you grew up in a specific area and those people are not from your area, you may not even date them then.
Right.
So imagine somebody being 30, 40 years old, never having left their neighborhood, never having left their side of town, and you tell them, "Hey, here's a girl. She's attractive, takes care of herself, gainfully employed, don't have no kids, all the things on your checklist, except she's not black, she's Latino, or she's white, or she's Polish, or she whatever, Irish, what have you." They're gonna be like, "Nah, I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm straight on that." You know, so to each his own, but I think it's just a very interesting dynamic, and I think it definitely correlates to people who probably don't date outside their race have probably not traveled much.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
I definitely think it's like who you see, who's in your wheelhouse.
Because that's gonna be your only reference point for like what beauty is, right?
Yeah.
Like take into account social media. Like when we were all growing up, we didn't have social media.
Right.
So fine to you was the girl or the dude that stayed on your block who looked that was it.
Yeah, your neighbor or the girl in school, class.
Right. And you might have went to the skating rink and saw somebody who did live in your neighborhood, and you're like, "Where he stay at?" "Oh, he stay oh, damn, he don't even stay over here." But now with social media, as it has progressed, now you get to see more versions of what beautiful is, and it doesn't necessarily have to change your mind on it, but it just opens your mind to other versions of the same thing. But it's up to you to make what you will of it,
Right.
That's why I said, like, even Arizona is not the most diverse place. I think I would say it was less diverse than Chicago.
Arizona was?
Arizona was.
Oh, okay. I've only been to Chicago once. I was only there for a day. I don't really know much about it.
I mean, I've never been to Atlanta, but I would say Chicago's probably a lot like Atlanta.
Oh, okay. I think Atlanta's super diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, definitely that was a big culture shock for me moving from Ohio to Arizona, but then again, moving from Arizona to Atlanta. Now, when I look back at my two previous homes, I'm like, wow, this is way different.
Yeah, you go from 2% black to 80% black.
Right.
You go from being a majority to a minority.
No, 100%. In both states, Ohio and Arizona, and then going here. I was the majority in both, and now I'm the minority.
Does it feel like you? Does it feel like it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We were at dinner the other night, and I forget where we went, but I turned to my boyfriend and was like, I'm the only white person in here. And he was like, oh yeah. Like, and I was like, this is weird. Like, it's weird for me as somebody who lived in two different cities where that would never happen. I was going to say rarely. That was never going to happen.
So is this person, is this person used to predominantly dating white women or black women or both?
I think he's dated all of them.
Gotcha.
I've asked that before. Hispanic, white women, black women.
What
but
if
it was his first time in Atlanta? Well, since he was like young, like he hadn't been to Atlanta in a minute.
Will checking in. What's up, Will? Will said,
what up, Palm?
All women are beautiful. Doesn't matter the race. Old women, chunky women, thick women, small women, gigantic women. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Keep it going. Keep it going for that.
Yeah, Palm, you went from thick women to small women to gigantic.
He said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and if it's me in my early 20s, anything goes.
Not anything.
Tell him, Palm. Tell him, Palm.
Not anything goes.
My guy is crazy.
Anything?
Palm is a good dude.
It took less to get you in the game at 20.
Gigantic?
Hey, listen, I did have this conversation the other day, though. You know, I was thinking about how, like, because I am surrounded by the majority of African-American women, thick is beautiful out here. Big is beautiful out here. And I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day because I seen a little meme where a woman was wearing a sundress, but she got that little like fupa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thick women be having that kind of thick, I call it your upper P. I'm not going to say what the P is, but it's an upper P. And I was talking, and this guy, my buddy back at home in Ohio, was like, no, that doesn't matter. Like, they're like, if she thick, like that little tummy don't matter because I gotta know what you think.
It mattered, but he gonna take it. It mattered.
But the odds of you having a thick woman with a 6-pack or a flat tummy is very, very hard.
Nah, I disagree with that. It depends on what kind of thick she is.
What does that mean?
Like you can be slim thick. You could
That's
be fit. You could be fit thick. You could just be curvy.
But I'm talking about slim thick. Like her body's good. Like she an athlete, but like she gonna have a little bit like I don't want to go into like the biology of the body here, but like when your girl in the South is ready to bear children, you get a little bit wider.
And the roomy through the hip area.
You get a little roomy, okay? So what he's saying is, what my buddy Zero was saying is that like, if you want a thick chick, odds are you're probably not going to get fucking washboard abs, right? Like that's more rare for a woman to be like, unless it's a BBL.
But see, I don't agree with that. I think that I think that saying something doesn't matter doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. Just means that you're willing to accept it. Well, it doesn't mean that you would rather not have it.
I'm saying that's what you're going to probably get more oftentimes than not.
So take for instance, stretch marks, right?
Yeah, that's a good example.
And women say real men don't care about stretch marks. And there are lots of men out there who say those don't matter. I don't care nothing about stretch marks.
But skinny people have stretch marks too.
Right. It's not a stretch marks not about size. Stretch marks is about the condition of your skin, right?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I thought you were relating it to size. I'm like, no, skinny people have those too.
No. It's just about the condition of your skin. But a dude saying I'm willing to sleep with a woman with stretch marks is not the same as him saying I would rather not have a woman that has stretch marks. And
right.
if she didn't have stretch marks,
right.
But I'm willing to accept it.
Like a woman could say, I'm willing to accept 5 inches, but I'd prefer 9.
Right.
Right.
I'm willing to accept he got a plumber's stomach. I would rather he had a 6-pack. If I had my druthers of the two, I'd rather he had a 6-pack. 9 out of 10 women will probably tell you I'd rather have a dude.
Okay, I wouldn't even say 9 out of 10. I would give you like 7 because there's a lot of women that be dating thick boys. They want.
But is that what they like, or is that what they will accept?
Some of them be liking it. Some of it
because that's what they will accept.
I went through a little big man phase. I had me a little big man phase. I can't lie. I was loving the big boy phase.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. You had a husky boy phase?
Yeah, thick.
I mean,
I don't know. I think that sometimes it is like comfortable.
So why did you grow out of it?
Because he was a piece of crap.
Oh, so it was only one.
Yeah. But when I was with him, like before I got to him, I was like entertaining the idea. Like, because I had always dated like, well, and I was going to say athletes, but he was an athlete. He was just big. And then, so I was like entertaining that, and that was attractive to me at the time. And then after that, when I found out he was still cheating, I was like, dang, even the big ones cheat. That's crazy. The ugly ones, the big ones.
Will said, depends. Do you see this as a long time or a fun time? Looks determine how long the fun time lasts.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, Will. People be saying looks aren't everything. There's something.
For sure.
She had a husky boy phase.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I remember. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I remember when Black Panther came out, and
yes, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
The dude with the animal skin, and girls was like, "Oh, that's what I like."
His name's M'Baku.
Right. Girls was like, "That's what I like now."
Ooh, that's
and I remember seeing a meme, and it said, "Do you really like thick guys, or are you gonna call me fat when you get mad at me?"
Oh. That's funny because I have this conversation all the time. Women hurt feelings in fights. Women be hurting feelings. Like, I feel like some men do, but 10 out of 10 times a woman's going to hurt your feelings during a fight.
I think it's because men. I don't think men want to hurt women's feelings.
Sorry, my cat.
I don't think men want to hurt women's feelings, right? Like if y'all arguing back and forth, blah, 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 like a man could say some real mean things.
Yeah. Oh,
for a woman, sure. Just like obviously a woman can say to a man, but I think a man is thinking like, nah, let me not go there.
Yeah. Because then you're going to be in the doghouse. You guys handle it better.
Right. Whereas a woman will be like, I'm going to say it and I deal with the fallout later.
Yeah, I agree.
Your dick's small. Your dick is small. Doesn't feel like that.
Right.
That's what they be saying to you, KP?
No, they don't. Definitely won't be saying that to me. Sure.
He's drawing from reference.
Lord, dick, motherfucker.
Someone did say that, I'd be hurt.
Your feelings would be hurt?
Yeah, for sure.
Here's the one thing you can't change. You can always make some more money or get a bigger house, nicer car.
So if a woman were like, F you, you're broke anyways, that doesn't hurt?
Nah.
Log that one.
Nah, because I had enough money while you was with me.
Yeah, true.
But it's just the penis thing, huh?
Yeah, the penis thing hits hard.
Now you're crying in the corner the rest of the night?
No, I'm not crying. I'm gonna just go beat someone else up who's gonna make me feel better.
No.
Because you could feel, I think as a man, you could feel good about everything, right? You could have a nice car, nice house. And like I said, that's the one thing you can't change. Like a woman could say, you have a crummy house. You live in a terrible house. So you'd be like, this is $1 million house. I know you lying.
Yeah.
Or if a dude is short, she can mess with him. She can say something mean about his height.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't change that.
Yeah, so. Can't change that. Height or girth.
Not girth.
But then too, you also have to look back on it and be like, if you've been with her for, let's say you've been with her for like 2 years, and y'all get into a huge fight at the end of the 2 years, and then she throw that out, you're gonna feel like the whole last 2 years been a lie.
Was a lie, yeah.
When we first met, you told me I was knocking it down. Now it's not good enough.
Yeah.
You've been lying to me for 2 years straight. That hurts.
Right in the ego.
That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts. But I mean, I feel like even if a man says something about a woman's lower parts, she'd be like, everybody want this. Everybody down to get a piece of this. I ain't never had no complaints about this.
Right.
I got somebody in my inbox right now want some of this.
Right. No, that's real. That's real. You gotta be careful because a lot of y'all don't want that information.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to know who's in the DMs for sure.
You do or don't?
Don't.
Yeah, don't. I mean, most of the time it's y'all friends. So
if they on red, you cheating.
If you looked at it, you cheating.
If you looked at it, you cheating. That's why there's one. I forgot what somebody said. Like Beyonce can't even get. Like she doesn't even have like her messages on or some shit like that. Like no one can DM her or something. Like, come on, man. Just like the saying goes, just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you still can't shoot.
Right.
So everyone can, any woman or dude can easily be taken. It's just a matter of how much pressure are you willing to put on said female or said dude.
Yeah. No, I agree about that.
When I say taken.
Yeah, because dudes.
So you feel like if you with a dude that another dude can get you, it's just depending on what he's willing to do it?
No, I don't think he can get me, but I think he's going to try. I think men are always going to try. I think women are always going to try. If you have an attractive boyfriend, women are going to shoot their shot at your man. I think that's an inevitable, but it's what the other person does. Like if you're in a relationship with an attractive person, we're both going to get attention. The possibility is always there for that other person.
Mm-hmm.
The ones in the relationship are the ones that would dictate that. Like, I feel like if you had a solid girl, she's not going to entertain that.
What's entertaining? Opening up the message or responding?
Leaving it on red.
Yeah.
What if you were dating a guy and you found out that he had been having a conversation with a young lady and you said,
I'm killing them both.
why are you even having this conversation with her? And he said, well, I didn't want to be mean.
Oh no, no, that's not flying with me.
Girls are quick to say that too.
Right. And that's exactly why I asked that question.
What?
Girls always say, I didn't want to come off mean.
Naivete at its finest.
What? I will be so mean. How mean do you want me to be? You tell me. If I'm locked in with you, no, I'll be mean.
That's what they say too. we was already on the same wavelength. He was like, girls say that all the time.
Yeah. Not me. I'll be mean.
Why are you going back and forth with this dude? It was no reason for me to be mean to him.
Okay. So OBJ walks in.
We've already had this conversation because I told you I have curved athletes before for a boyfriend that ended up cheating on me. And guess who looked dumb? Because I curved him.
OBJ, let's get serious, man. You love you some OBJ.
I'll send you the pic right now. You know I got a pic with him. Don't do that. We met at a Suns game.
So you took a picture with him, but you had a boyfriend?
Yes. That's different.
Cheating. That's cheating.
No, that's not cheating.
That's cheating.
Yeah, that's cheating. Because you already identified him as your crush. That's cheating.
A picture, knock it off.
Yeah.
Because
were y'all touching in the picture?
What?
Were y'all touching in the picture?
No, because I wasn't allowed to. I would have gotten fired for that. Because we be signing contracts that we won't interact with the celebrities. We're not allowed to technically even do that. So. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, what I was going to say is you both were in my close friends and you saw that I would be mean to men. I have no problem being mean to men. I'm not bragging about it, but I got no problem doing it.
I feel like, but you're not in a situation right now where you belong to somebody.
I am now.
Oh, well, I haven't seen no green circle story since then.
What does that mean?
Like like when you what's this? May? Let's say maybe February, March, you'll post a green story and you'll be like, look what this man said to me.
Well, yeah, because I don't be talking to men because I got a man now.
Right. But I'm saying back then, the things that you would say to that man, I didn't necessarily think was mean. You'd be like, why are you texting me? Blah, blah,
I see what you're saying.
So I didn't look at it as like, damn, like she kind of being kind of harsh in her response. I didn't look at it like that. If you was like, get off, stop playing on my phone, blah, 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 blah. Like that would have been mean.
Is that what you want your woman to do? So if your girlfriend got a DM and you don't want her to say, well, I was just being nice, is the opposite you want her to be mean and say, what are you doing in my DMs? You know I'm with David. Back off.
But my thing is that I would never tell her what to say. But if because I want to give her the opportunity to make her own decisions, right?
Right.
If you make a decision and something happens because of the decision that you made, then we have to have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to be like, you can't talk to other dudes and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to let you make your own decision. And if you make the wrong decision,
that's on you.
You made the wrong decision. I would hope that the person that I'm in a relationship with would be respectful enough to be like, if he was having this conversation with a girl, I would feel some kind of way about it. So I'm not going to do that.
Right.
But I'm also not going to be like, you can't be friends with this guy. You can't talk to this dude, blah, 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 blah. Like I would never do that. Because like I said, I want to give you enough rope where you have an opportunity to make a decision. So if you get a DM from a dude and you decide to engage in a conversation with him, and then one day he just send you a nudie, and you like, babe, look, this dude just sent me a naked picture of him, and I wasn't expecting it, and I don't know why he did that. I'm gonna be like, why were you even talking to him
in the first place? Yeah.
In the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this could have been avoided.
Exactly.
So like I said, I'm not the type of person that would tell my significant other what they can and can't do, or what my expectations are. I just want to sit back and watch to see what kind of decision you're gonna make.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think as you get older too, that's like that's the only way to go.
Yeah.
You can't force somebody to not do something. They're going to do what they want to do, and hopefully they do the right thing. But if they don't, that's got nothing to do with me. You made that choice.
And I think we all go through that phase in life where maybe you go through one phase where you kind of let people do whatever they want to do, and you end up getting hurt.
Right.
Then you go through another phase where you say, I'm going to tell my significant other what I want them to do. Right. And then that doesn't work.
Right.
But when you get older and you just say, I'm going to just sit back and watch you.
Yeah.
We're at the age where you should know right from wrong. And if you still make the wrong decision, then you make the wrong decision.
Right.
I hope you make the right one. Everybody makes mistakes, but like I said, then you have to have a conversation. Right. How bad was it?
Yeah, I agree 100%. KP, you got a dog?
Yeah.
You did adopt a dog?
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Leo.
You weren't going to introduce us to him?
He just did. He was kissing him in the mouth.
He was not kissing me in the mouth.
He was having a moment.
He was not kissing me in the mouth.
Leo, you didn't like the name Kobe?
No, I love the name Kobe, but I think a lot of people name their dogs Kobe.
I know, I would. I like that name. It's cute.
He's already blessed his carpet.
Yeah.
Welcome to being a daddy.
Little fucker.
Right, and then now you're gonna be like, oh man, what time? It's time to feed the couch. He's gonna be like, wait a minute.
Wait.
Yeah.
I gotta check him first.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work from here on out.
Yeah, you gotta call him over here.
He's right here.
Oh, let me see. He's a German Shepherd?
Yeah.
That's a big dog.
Yeah, he is big.
You adopted him?
Yeah.
Look at him, kissing him in the mouth.
He fits you really well. You know, they say people be looking like their dogs. You guys look alike.
Right, now that's going to be his dating profile picture, him and his dog.
Right.
And girls going to be like, oh my God, I love you. You want to come over and meet him?
Yeah, your ears even match. That's cute.
Boy, no.
They do be saying that though, that like you look like your pets. Like my dog, all growing up, I was like a bleach blonde, and he was like a white blonde kind of color and had blue eyes. So I'd take him to the park and people would be like, "You guys look alike," and I'd be like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah, so I was looking when I was at work on Monday. I was looking at work all day at the Humane Society, its website. I look like every week, and then I saw him, and around 3:30, I was like, I'm gonna go, meet him. So, with the way the Humane Society works is that when someone gets the dog, they take them off the website. It's like prompt.
Yeah, they're quick about it.
Yeah, real quick. And so this was at like all throughout the day, he was there. And then I was facilitating all day. And then I told my class, I was like, I'm gonna let you guys dip early because I'm gonna go meet this dog. And around like 3:30, he was gone. And so then I was devastated. I was like, man, because there's another dog that I really wanted like about a month ago. The same thing happened. But a family took him.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, it was a Rottweiler. And because these are the only two kind of dogs that I wanted. And I went anyway around 3:50 because it's right around the corner from my work. And he was on the van to go to another humane society.
Who, Leo?
So, yeah. He was on the van to go to another humane society. And so they had to get him off the van to meet me. And they got him off the van. And here we are. Yeah.
A match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven.
Oh, all right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and get out of here. Jojo, what you got for us?
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure. Love our discussions. 10 out of 10.
Love it. Like, subscribe, share. Everybody who tuned in, like, subscribe, share. KP, what you got for us?
Jordan, of course, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, love. If Buddy is watching, you got a good one. If he hears me, don't fuck it up. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday potentially. And keep listening, keep calling, or keep writing in the chat. Palm, thank you for coming for hollering at us. Whoever,
the best of the best. Thanks for chiming in.
Best. I don't know who that was, but great job. Appreciate you. Felix, of course, as usual. Thank you so much. Tell Geneva, man. I mean, she's been slacking the last couple of weeks. Last week she didn't come on to like the last 10 minutes. Previous week before that, she didn't come on at all. This week she didn't say nothing. So Geneva, what's cracking, yo? What's good? Like
I heard her she was downstairs talking to Landon. I don't know what they're doing. So.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
But I also hear the podcast in the background, so there might be
good.
I appreciate you guys watching. Yeah. Thank you. From KP and Leo.
Aw. Oh, there she is.
And a little too late, man.
She said, I'd be listening. What else do you want from me?
As always, Jojo, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, me and KP Hearts, for coming to hang out with us. I know you work all day and then you get off and then you come hang out with us for another hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes. So we appreciate you making the time. Always great conversations. Thank you so much for that.
Of course. Love being here.
KP, my pleasure to have you on again. Like every week, just getting better and better. So I definitely appreciate you making the time and bringing your insights as well. So couldn't do it without you. Definitely appreciate you. But for everybody else who chimed in the chat, who watched online, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be narrowing down our co-host search here, hopefully in the next week or two. So stay tuned for that. As a reminder, you can catch all of our episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast. Search the Cabrini Kid Podcast, and you can go back and listen to all the episodes. JoJo's been on like 3 or 4 of them. KP's been on like 2/3 of them. I've been on all of them. You can go back and listen to all the episodes when you're driving to work, when you're at the gym, whatever. But we appreciate everybody for showing the support. So we'll be back next week. We'll do it again. But until then, everybody stay safe. Peace.